And reputation, yeah, and all that kind of stuff. Bedside manner, yeah, learn a ton of stuff there. And you can't really screw up, right? Technically, because in being a pharmacist, right? I mean, it's
I wasn't the pharmacist.
high stakes. Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
I was the guy cleaning the shelves. I wasn't the pharmacist, but
yeah. But I mean, you got to watch your dad, right? I mean, that's what I mean. We all learn by watching our dads and stuff. If we're
yeah.
blessed enough to have one grow up, and yeah. So yeah, it's so interesting to me because obviously there's these early adopters, that are seeing that the service is there and even maybe higher quality service on average, and that you can grow faster, you can move quicker, right? Because you don't have to worry about turnover as much. You don't have to worry about running out of labor and stuff. So there's a huge competitive advantage here for early adopters on this. So time will tell how long that lasts. I mean, capitalism will clarify things, right? Because it'll be hard to stay in business and compete if you're not caught up. But what's really interesting, man, is I was talking to my wife the other day, and I think it was after we had talked the other time. We were both sick, so we could only talk like for an hour and a half, right? We weren't on our game, but uh, I said, what's really interesting about this outsourcing thing is it's like there's not a lot of barriers that I see out there. And so, whereas 50 years ago, capitalism, communism, whatever, I mean, it was fought with guns, right? We protected with soldiers stuff. But now it's like I'm seeing capitalism because of the technology and because of this global movement. Like it'd be hard to stop, right? So like if everybody starts adopting this and hiring people, like governments will have to step in and stop the spread, so to speak, of capitalism. It's really an interesting sort of phenomenon because now, like you said, you're competing now and you're using labor on a global basis. These are not some of these countries like stated capitalists or, it's not something that they necessarily embrace. It's just going to happen, right? Unless somebody stops it, that's going to be really hard to stop. And so it might just happen naturally. It's kind of fascinating to me.
It's interesting. You mentioned a couple things there. There are countries that are already trying to stop it or regulate it or tax it or whatever it is. But I guess it will just
prosperity, right? It's prosperity spreading.
Well, what's happening in the Philippines, it's creating an entire new middle class that never existed. There was the 1% and then the 99% for hundreds of years. That was kind of the story of the Philippines. But now over the last 10 years, they've emerged this new middle class where, people in their 20s now are getting their own apartments, not living with their family till they're 30 or 40. I mean, they're driving cars now and they're going out to dinner multiple times a week. And that's just that's the reality of what's happening out there. And you mentioned something else that really kind of stuck out to me. You're like, well, the early adopters. It's no longer the early adopters. Almost everyone I talk to now, they have a virtual team. They may have a virtual team in the United States. They may have a virtual team outside of the United States. They may have a combination of the both. But it's like, even if you have your little office, you've got 5 people working there, life is good. You go to work every day. But like you said, if you grow fast, right? It's like, oh, I need to get something built tomorrow. Well, the old way of doing it was, well, let me, look in the newspaper or maybe post something online or call up a few people and get some interviews in here. I mean, I could have a website built by tomorrow, like we could launch a new business tomorrow, a new project tomorrow. I mean, I could have a person in place that, is editing videos and designing graphics and sending out flyers and, making phone calls and doing PR for us and all these different things like that it takes to launch a business. You can move very, very fast. And, if you're not doing that, you are going to get left behind. It's not to say that you're going to go out of business. It's not to say that you're not going to provide for your family, because you probably will. But there's an advantage. It's not even a first mover advantage. It's just the taking advantage of the opportunity advantage where it's out there. Doesn't matter where they're located. If you can get something done for me the way that I need it done, great. Let's do this. For some reason, I picked the Philippines. For some reason, that's where my team is located, and that's the service that I provide right now. And I've been doing it for last 10 plus years.
I think it's awesome, man. I applaud you. I think technology opens up the door for this, but it still takes entrepreneurs to scrub all the problems, right? And get the feedback from the market and fix that. And you're doing a good thing, man, because you're bringing prosperity to everybody.
I
So I just think
appreciate
that's
that.
cool.
It was interesting. I never set out to start this company. I've been doing it for full time the last 12 years, and I mean it wasn't my intention. I just needed to find people to get stuff done for me. That's all it was. And I realized there was such a need in the market. There were other people that needed to get stuff done without all the headaches. I started filling that niche, and been doing it
Yeah.
ever since. Yeah.
No, I think it's great. In a way, outsourcing people is a technology, right? It's like you can either work on AI, or you can build a great software program, or I can just figure out a way to get these people that want to work to do the work in a way that these people want.